And you ready?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Video is rolling. Audio in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. Dr. D, it's been a while.
It has been. Where
have you been?
Well, actually, I've been here the whole time. I've been sleeping over here in the corner, waiting and waiting. And the wait is over.
We had a couple weeks off.
We did.
I don't feel any more rested. How about you?
I absolutely not.
Well, you didn't take any time off. I took a little time off.
I know. I was trying to figure out, wait a minute. Did I authorize that?
No,
and then I found out I don't have that authority.
I would just I kept showing up and the door was locked, so I didn't really even knock. I just said, let me go to the beach instead.
Yeah, what the heck?
Yeah, why not?
Which is what Gormley always says when he's doing his version.
This time it was true.
This time it was true.
Well, hey, thanks for hanging in there. Hopefully we still have listeners. We've taken a few weeks off and we didn't even tell you where you're going anywhere, so I hope you weren't too worried. But since I didn't get any emails or phone calls or texts, I guess either we have no listeners or they weren't worried.
They weren't worried.
No, they knew we'd find our way back at one point. Yeah. So we have a fun kind of a relaxing end of summer. We're going into the fall here.
Oh yeah.
You know what, Dr. D? 2 years in a row this has happened, and it's really bummed me out. But we used to talk about this back in the beginning there. The day after our 3-day weekend going back into the fall,
the Labor Day,
the Labor Day weekend, it was always that very next day you could feel fall in the air. It was crisp, it was cool, do you remember that?
I remember talking about that and the angle of the shadows. You felt football season was, not that I'm a huge football fan, but it was part of it.
Yeah.
You felt football season was coming.
Holidays are coming.
World Series was just around the corner because I'm a big baseball fan. School was going to go back in session. Of course, now they start in August. So that kind of throws you off.
Mm-hmm.
But the biggest thing of all is, I'm so excited. As of November 4th, and I know that's another month and a half away, the last time we change our clocks here in California.
Yeah, that is something. That's something to look forward to. God, that was so. I never got that. But I mean, I get it. I get why it was started, but I never got why we were still doing that in this day and age. But yeah, no,
but it was beautiful weather.
But it hasn't happened the last 2 years. It's still been blazing hot. In fact,
oh man.
I mean, I think everybody, I can't complain like we're the only ones. I think the whole continent is on fire with record breaking heat waves.
Yeah.
But the heat waves here in Santa Barbara the last few weeks were unbearable. I mean, you got some nice AC here in the studio, but God, it's just to sleep and to just get up and take a shower and you're instantly drenched. You're hot.
It
doesn't help.
And then the humidity went up. We had Hurricane K, or the remnants thereof, that came up the coast. We got a little rain here in Santa Barbara, more down in LA and even more down in San Diego. But even as of this broadcast, within the next 4 days, they're actually predicting more rain.
Yeah,
I'm hoping that stays in the forecast. But you're right, the heat, and we're not the only place either. I mean, I don't mean California, but the United States, across Europe, hotter than blazes as well. Yeah. Now, I don't know if their heat wave has subsided yet, but that's been the big news for the last few weeks, is just the record-breaking heat.
Yeah. Terrible. Just
awful.
Keep it. I don't want it.
Let's sell it.
I don't want Santa Barbara to change. I mean, it's always, we can't really complain too much because year round it's a perfect weather.
Well, someone told me, they said, well, I just ran down to the beach and jump in the water. I said, yeah, but you got to get out of the water eventually, and then it's hot again.
And then you got sand everywhere.
What's even worse is there was no real breeze to speak of.
Right. It was just
still air. Yeah.
Still air all day, all night.
I will be thankful. I am thankful, in spite of that blazing long heat wave. So thankful that we have not had any fires anywhere in the area. And if we had,
that is. I'm glad. I'm happy that you're right.
And if we have had them, then the fire department, the first responders, man, they've jumped on those things like a cat on catnip.
Get them out quick.
Oh,
hey, we've got a returning guest today, Carol Wellsman. She's got a new album out, so she's coming in here in the second half. And I also wanted to announce something pretty cool. I talked to our good friend Gianni Valente out there in the Birdland in New York City.
Oh, yeah.
Johnny's going to start coming on every couple of weeks and talking about his acts, these great acts that come through at Birdland. He's going to bring those to the show. So
cool.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. And I hope you guys have been catching Tim Stack
while we've been TV's on break. Tim Stack.
It's radio, actually.
It's radio with TV's
Tim Stack.
Now, is he changing his name legally to TV's Tim Stack?
I think he may have already changed.
He may have done that already on his passport and everything.
So let us know what you think about those. Those shows are so much fun. John Lovitz.
Oh my God, that was funny. I mean, my mic is off while I'm recording the program, but I'm sitting there dying. I am just dying, especially the end of the program and folks, you're going to have to go to YouTube or you're going to have to go to thejeremiahshow.com. The end of that show, he wants to tell a story. And TV's Tim Stack says, we're out of time. He says, I had a story that would have skyrocketed your ratings and you are saying no. Okay, thank you and goodbye.
Yeah, that was hilarious. He just cut him off cold, Tim. And Tim didn't even pay attention. But I loved also what we asked him to do. I don't know if I didn't notice this while we were doing the interview, while Tim was doing the interview. But I noticed it when I posted the video up on our YouTube channel. On YouTube, The Jeremiah Show. At the very, very end, we're getting his radio drop promo, right? And I don't know if you noticed this, the whole time he's going like, he's holding his thumb and his forefinger and rubbing them together like he needs money. Like, I'll do it, but I need some cash, you know?
Oh, I thought that was a signal to his family that he's being held hostage and he needs to have the ransom paid.
Yeah, something. Yeah. No, he wanted money. He wanted money before he did any promotion for us, but we got it anyway, Dr. D.
Yeah.
John, the check is in the mail.
That's right.
It's on the way. Yeah, and then we're 9 shows away, Dr. D, from our 500th show.
Can you believe that?
I cannot believe that.
Wow.
Actually. I cannot believe that. I mean, that's a lot of hours. That's a lot of time. That's a lot of special guests. So many great stories. Yeah, 500. So exciting stuff.
I don't know if you want to reveal this, but we also have a very special program that is coming up too, in honor of one of our guests and participants in HJR.
HJR.
Or not HJR. What am I
renaming my company?
I'm
like
sorry.
That. Let's get rid of Liebfried and we'll go with Richard. Higgins Jones Richard.
You know what I'm talking about.
HJL, in case you're wondering what the heck we're talking about. HJL Hospitality. That's my business that we open restaurants and hotels and bars and retail shops. And Higgins is obviously H. We sound like a law firm, HJL. Yeah.
You handle my taxes. You've done a horrible job. And with all of those new IRS members, I'm going to be audited. I can see it coming now.
Well, we were doing so great, but the member that did the taxes dropped off, and then we replaced him with Richard. So that's your own fault. Higgins Jones Richard.
And I was using an abacus. I don't know how to use an abacus, so that's where I got in trouble. Anyway, but we do have a special show coming up in the not too distant future.
We do. As you all know, our good dear friend Ann Heche passed away a couple of weeks ago, and we have a beautiful tribute to Anne, and our not the next 2 shows, but the 3rd show up, episode 293, will be dedicated to Anne, and I'm actually telling my story of Anne. And it was a great one. I've got great audio notes that Anne would send me, and text messages and dreams and hopes of hers. And you're going to see a different side to Ann Heche, probably than you've seen publicly. She was just such an incredible lady in so many different ways. So,
you know, the day or 2 after her passing, I saw some of those little tributes on A&E, or not A&E, but Entertainment Tonight and so forth. And I'm going, I didn't know all of that about her. Wow. But now, folks, you're going to learn a whole lot more about her, the real scoop there.
Yeah, we had a really great relationship with Anne from the beginning. We started back in 2020, was it 2020? We did a show with Mariel Hemingway and Anne on mental health, and just a terrific show. Did a couple shows. Then we Anne created a little a story. She told about what I learned from the masters, working with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones and Johnny Depp and
some good
De Niro. I mean, she's some great movies. So, but we had a really great relationship here at the show with Anne, and she was so gracious and such a intelligent. Probably, I can say this, one of the most intelligent women I've ever met. One of the most intelligent people I've ever met, and had the pleasure of getting to know. We're going to try to do her justice and tell some of those stories in a tribute to her, special tribute coming up. But before that, we have Carol Welsman, jazz vocalist, pianist. She's going to join us next. So why don't we take a break, Dr. D, and we'll come back with Carol. Hey, glad to be back.
Me too. Okay, I'm going to let her in.
Oh, is she here?
She is. I just sent you the text saying that she was in the waiting room, but that's all right. We'll put her in right there. Here she comes. Better turn this up so we can hear her.
Hi, Carol.
Hello.
Hello. Carol.
Why can't you see me?
Hi.
And then there was video.
And that's in the book of celluloid. Book of celluloid, chapter 2, verse 7.
Why don't we get the feed?
Is your microphone?
No.
Okay. What about you, Carol?
Actually, we had this problem the other night. What do I need to do to stop it? Is there something? My mic is on.
Okay.
But
the speaker, obviously, I'm hearing myself because there's a delay. I'm hearing myself in the playback.
Should I turn my?
Should
I put my headphones on?
If that, yes.
Let's see if that. I think you're hearing. This is what happened on. I was zooming with a musician on who was in Australia, and she had the same issue. Is that better?
Oh, that's much better.
There we go.
And now I'm not hearing the echo.
Yeah, it's my fault. I don't know.
What's that music coming in there, Dr. D?
Oh, that's just me playing.
Oh,
I'm just fooling around.
Oh,
just.
okay.
I wanted you to be able to see the keyboard, but it's kind of hard to do that.
I got it. I think it's beautiful.
There.
Yeah. Okay. Let me get.
Yeah, it's beautiful, and I just put it up on eBay for sale. Okay.
I have a Yamaha SN9 you could put up for sale.
Okay. All right.
You're getting some good bids already.
That's
Carol, it's so nice to see you again.
Thank you. It's so great to see you, Jeremiah.
This is our third show together, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, wow.
We don't really have, we have musicians back and special guests back, but I think 3 is probably, you're up at the top there.
Yeah.
I
think so.
I'm a fan of your show. Believe me, that's a
cool. You let me know when you.
Did we get that recorded, Dr. D?
We will have to do that all over again.
Okay, so I love the album. I love the title. So I'm going to do a little intro here, Carol, and then we've got a half an hour, right, or 25 minutes. I better start talking on air here and stop talking now. Let's see here. Anything that you want to mention besides? I've got the tour dates. I've got. Oh, I wanted to double check. I still hear a feedback in my ear. I don't know.
How loud are your headphones back there? I'm still here too.
They're not very loud.
Okay.
I just turned them down.
All right, testing 1, 2. I'm still hearing. I'm just barely hearing it.
Do you know there's a setting? Do you know? It's been so long since I did this, but
basically, how are you hearing us right now? Is my question.
I'm hearing you through my earbuds. I've got Apple earbuds.
And you don't have
they've got a cord, but
you don't have anything else well, what you do is you go into Zoom.
Yeah.
You have to go into Zoom and to audio. I'll just lead you through this real quick because we want to get started.
I know.
Zoom and audio.
Where do I find audio?
Okay.
Oh, it says
a little microphone, a little arrows there, and that gives you settings. And you find the microphone, lower left-hand corner.
Oh, there are the settings, yeah.
All right. And then there's a speaker and microphone settings, and you can choose the output or speaker that you're hearing us through. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that I could just now hear it. I just heard it. Hang on one second. Let me try something. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Nope. I'm still hearing it.
So there's a setting where I can turn off something and I don't know what to turn off. I'm so sorry.
Well, you don't have to. Okay. In the settings there under audio and under speakers, what do you have selected as your speakers?
It's the built-in output headphones.
Built-in headphones. May I ask what the choices are?
Same as system. Built-in output headphones, Carol New Multi-Out, which I know is not right. Microsoft Teams, Epicam microphone, loopback audio, test speaker microphone, leave computer audio.
That's under speakers?
Yeah, select a speaker.
Select a speaker. Do me a favor, select same as. I'll give you a thumbs up or thumbs down in case I can't hear you. But
how about that?
Testing, 1, 2. No. I'm still hearing it in the background. Just very, very faint.
I wonder if we should try the phone instead. Just
well, we could do that.
That will annoy everybody if we got that.
So here's what we want you to do. Don't leave Zoom. Okay. But give me a phone call. I'll give you the number.
You just mute everything.
And well, I'm going to turn the Zoom audio down. Okay.
Okay.
So I'll turn that down. 805 564 1290.
Okay.
On our phone, we'll keep the video going, and then we will get rolling here.
Okay. Well, my apologies. This pandemic has done me in. Technically, I really don't know how to.
And you could probably plug your earbuds or what have you into your phone so that you're listening that way.
I've got to get another set of earbuds. I'm so sorry.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Take your time.
Okay, so I've got her there. Yeah, sound from her will be a little different, but it'll be better.
Yeah,
with
that feedback is nobody's going to want to listen.
I know some folks do have this challenge for some reason. There's this echo, and we're not sure what the issue is.
I don't either. That's what.
You're coming through loud and clear right now.
Pardon me?
Yeah.
You're coming through loud and clear right now.
With no echo.
With no echo.
Well, then.
Well, now, do you have your speakers on there on the computer?
I have the speaker on.
And do me a favor. Mute your microphone on your computer on Zoom.
Mute the microphone?
Better yet, never mind. I'll mute it. I can do it. There we go.
There, you just did it.
Okay. So why am I still?
Yeah.
I'm still hearing it.
Is it yours or mine?
Hang on a second. Hang on a second.
Hold on.
Testing, 1, 2.
There.
Hang on one second. Test. All right, try it again. What's that now?
Now you don't hear it.
I think it's gone. It's gone.
Because I just turned the speakers off. So yeah.
Okay, here we go. In.
Okay, wait a minute. So I've got 20 minutes. We want to get 30 in.
Can we get that extra 10 from you?
Well, no, I need do you know Spicy G Goldman, Jason Goldman? Let me ask him if I can push him back 10 minutes.
Okay, we'll do 40. We'll do 45 on him.
I can barely hear you. I'm so sorry.
We're here. Oh, there we go. I had his other button wasn't punched in here. You'll hear him now.
Okay.
So two. I'll say 2:15.
Okay.
Today.
And make that 2:15 sharp because I have 3 o'clock and you got a 3:15.
Yeah.
But we'll make it happen.
We're gonna make this happen. No
you
problem.
know it. You know it.
Thank you so much. I don't deserve this royal treatment.
Oh, give me a break. We want you to sound as beautiful on the radio airways as you do on your albums.
That's right.
We gotta take care of you and make sure you sound good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we're good.
All right, then we're gonna roll. Video's been rolling the whole time, so we did get her little accolade there, so we can always steal that.
They can see
That's right.
The viewers, the listeners
That's
can see what happens behind the scenes.
You got it.
Show must go on, right?
In
Carol?
3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. It is with great pleasure that I welcome back our guest today, jazz vocalist and pianist Carol Welsman. Carol comes bearing a gift for the world today, Dr. D.
I love gifts.
I love gifts too. And I love when a special guest brings a gift. It's so thoughtful. It's her 14th album. It's aptly titled 14, which was released on September 9th. You know what I love about, I don't know why I love the title 14, but something about it. I mean, I know that it applies to Carol's 14th album release, but I just like 14. I don't think I've ever seen that anywhere else in a title. And there's something about it. I just really like the 14, the number 14 there. I don't know why I'm going off on a tangent here, but I do really love the title name. The album might be my favorite of Carol's to date.
Oh, goodness.
Can we stop for a moment? Sure. I wanted to do this before and we didn't get to. Okay, Carol, just to make sure that I'm pronouncing everybody's name right, let me just run it by you beforehand, okay? Pierre Côté, Rémi-Jean LeBlanc.
That's fine.
Is that fine, or how would you say it? You speak French.
LeBlanc. They
LeBlanc.
don't pronounce the C.
Yeah, okay, LeBlanc. No, see, that's what I wanted to. And Jim Doxas.
Jim Doxas.
Doxas. Okay, that one's exactly how it sounds. See, good thing I did this. Okay.
You want to start from the top?
No, let's start from this album. Might be my favorite. How's that?
Okay, I'm going to put it right there.
Or I could go from
3, 2, 1.
The album might be my favorite of Carol's to date. Joining Carol on 14 is Pierre Côté on guitars, Rémi-Jean LeBlanc bass, and Jim Doxas on drums. It is a collaboration with these musicians who Carol's collaborated with for years, but I just really love how they came together on this album 14. It's a collaboration with these musicians and Carol's beautiful voice that make this album so fresh and appealing to me. Listening to the album puts the listener in a mood. You know what I mean, Dr. D? You get in a mood. Not that often with an album, but it's put me in a mood. It transcends your body and your mind to a simpler state of being. Carol's sultry voice washes over you, erasing the day, splashing and painting your world in pleasing colors with rejuvenating musical notes for your ears. Listening, you are changed. In her lifelong jazz journey as a luscious vocalist and appealing pianist, Carol Welsman simply sums it up by saying, I'm a firm believer that you have to send your message through the lyrics. Welcome back, Carol.
Oh, thank you. It's so great to be here, Jeremiah.
That's so nice to have you here on the show again for your third time. We can call this one 3. Congratulations on the new album. It truly is incredible. I was intrigued by that last line. I'm a firm believer that you send the message, your message through the lyrics. On 14, the new album, what message are you sending through your lyrics?
Well, honestly, the message depends on the song, and there are about 10 songs, I think, on the album, and each one tells a story. And I believe really songs are like stories that are sung. And so I really feel very connected to the lyrics, and that's usually what gets me more than the melody. I listen to the lyrics of the song and then decide whether I could bring something to it, whether it resonates with me. Because if it doesn't resonate with me, then I'm not sending the message.
So I mean, there are how many songs on the album here? I'm trying to count it real quickly. Do you know?
You may know more than I do. I
Well, let's just say there's more than 10. So each one of these spoke to you in some way. And how does that happen? Is it you're working on an album, maybe you're on tour from your last album, and you start picking up, you hear a song, or how do they start appearing in your life and then relating to them? Is there?
Well, actually, that's a really good question, because what ended up happening on this album is my choices actually dated back to my teens, when I learned, for example, Tad Dameron's song, If You Could See Me Now. It was one of the first jazz ballads I learned, and there's a very special thing about that song that I'll quickly let you know about. I sing a guitar solo on that song, and the guitar solo was played by a famous Canadian jazz guitarist named Ed Bickert. And Ed died recently, unfortunately, and I can't find a recording of the solo, but I learned the solo by heart when I was 17, and I sang it note for note, and I taught Pierre the solo. So he plays along with me on the album. So
wow.
So that plus a series of other little, there's a story that goes along with each song. Probably the one that I added to the list most recently, close to the album recording, is Pick Yourself Up, because I happened to be listening to a radio show and somebody said, I'm going to play this Nat King Cole version of Pick Yourself Up, and with George Shearing. And I listened to this arrangement, and it was so beautiful. I lifted it note for note and then just did it in my key. So it's paying homage to them, because George Shearing was one of my favorite piano players. So it's just little things like that, they just hit you certain ways. I Concentrate on You. It's one of the more mysterious songs of Cole Porter. It's got a very interesting lyric, and it's dark, and then it's light, and it's very playful. So it just depends, what hits me.
So it's almost as a musician, as an artist, as a composer, and all the different hats that you wear as a musical artist and a vocalist, you basically, your life, you're going through life and things come to you almost like a musical journal, or a film before your eyes, that you just start picking and choosing things that inspire you or have inspired you, or artists that you wanted to work with, and then and you put together your albums.
Well, there's another song on there. It's my original song called Be My Valentine. And I was literally in the car with my Labradors. This was, I don't know, 5 years ago or something, driving up Laurel Canyon in California. And it was close to Valentine's Day. And I thought, I need to write a Valentine's song. I literally wrote like 3/4 of the song, just singing it on the path, walking the dogs.
Lucky dog.
And then I realized we never actually released it, so we recorded it in the small formation. So and it's on some.
Now, was it for your husband Pat, or was it for the dog, or do we not want to say? Maybe we don't want to say here on there.
Oh, it was for my husband. Come on. He's in the other room.
Well, I was going to say hello, and I hate to do that during your interview, but I love your husband, and please tell him hello for me. What a gentleman. He's got to come back. He's only been on once. We need to get him to 2. So, when I wrote the intro to the show today, those visuals, those emotions came to me because I had my headphones on and I was listening to your album as I was writing. And then I came across your bio, and I thought it was very interesting that some of the descriptions, whoever wrote this is much more elegant than I am, but Dr. D needs me to take a break, and I will. Thank you, Dr. D. I'll be right there. But you talked about soothing the music. It's essential to you, and part of what you set out to do, or when you create and when you put this album together, it was essential to you to help soothe the myriad of emotions that we feel every day. Can you speak to that at all? And I thought it was interesting. That's how it made me feel. I really felt that I was it's overused, but transformed, and I was taken somewhere else with the music.
Oh, that's wonderful to hear. You know, this album of all the albums was done under much different circumstances. You know, we were in a pandemic, and when Jim West of Just in Time Records called me, I was up at a cottage on a dock on a lake, and he said, "I want you to record this album." And I said, "Jim, I don't have 1 foot out of this business. I have 2 feet out because there's nothing to do. We can't perform. We can't, you know, I'm really not very inspired." So I realized how the pandemic really played on my emotions, and how high the highs were and how low the lows were. Like there weren't very many highs, I have to say. You know, not being able to be with my musicians and play, and just that whole environment was cut off. It was quite a task to put this together. But once I got into it, it was probably the best thing for me, because it actually gave me the reason to you know, gave me a creative outlet.
Do you find that it's therapy for you, the music, when you create? First, like you just mentioned, it must be overwhelming. I've got to put this together. How do I put it together? Everything's changed. How do I, you know, work with the musicians from across the country, across the world? And then, you know, which songs do I choose? How do I add something new? How do I change this or that? Or what, you know, how do we put this song together and then this album together? That feels like it could be stressful, maybe. But then once you start to actually perform or compose or work or collaborate, and the music comes out and the music is played, is it therapeutic for you as the artist?
Well, it gave me a chance, because I literally shut the thing down. It gave me a chance to work on all these arrangements in Logic, because I do all my own arrangements most of the time. My last album I didn't, but all the other 13 I have. And so I sequence in Logic. I have a little recording studio downstairs, and I am able to build the songs and decide how long the solos are going to be, who will solo, or, you know, some things I leave open for just to happen in the recording studio, because you really can't plan jazz that well. It has ways of turning corners and interesting corners when the musicians jump in. But what I was able to do was to create these demos to the point where I could send them to them, and I did all the writing of the music. I write it all out in another program. And so they received PDFs by Dropbox and all the songs weeks before we met up in Montreal. And then, so the real challenge was we really only had 3 days to record, and the 4th day for vocals, if for any vocal fixes or whatever. And I think we recorded 15 songs, because we recorded 2 Christmas songs and something else that's slipping in my mind that was maybe a bonus track for, you know, for some countries. So that was really difficult, because when we got together, some of the grooves, like I Concentrate on You, we had no drums. So, wow, all of a sudden Pierre had to do something completely different on the guitar than he would normally have done. So just things like that, because I didn't set it up that way. I wasn't able to, I actually had drums on my track, and then we decided, no, let's just keep this really, really intimate. So I think that, you know, we were so happy to see each other, and we do nothing but speak French together. It's really fun.
We speak 2 different languages on this album. We'll talk about that when we get back. I wanted to say, Carol, before you came on, we went to break with the song Pick Yourself Up, which you've talked a little bit about today. And we came back with I Concentrate on You, that you just mentioned. We're going to take you out to break right now with Black Coffee, and you can tell us about that when we come back. We'll be right back.
Okay, and here we go. Yeah. Whoa, come back here. Here we go. Screen jump. 3, 2, 1. You're live.
Welcome back to the Jeremiah Show. The new album is 14 by Carol Wellsman. It's on Just in Time Records. It was released on September 9th. Carol is our special guest today. Joining Carol on 14 is Pierre Côté on guitars. Rémi-Jean LeBlanc bass, and Jim Doxas on the drums. I just did that for Richard. Upcoming tour dates, September 13th. There's a gig at Sunset Jazz at BISTANGO in Irvine, California, on November 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Cuesta College Cultural and Performing Arts Center in San Luis Obispo. You can find Carol on Apple Music, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube at Carol Welsman Jazz. Welcome back, Carol. We went to break with Black Coffee from your new album titled 14. Love this album. One of I hate to say I've got a favorite, but I think this might be my favorite right now, Carol. And we just came in with The Night Has 1,000 Eyes. Very, very cool. I'm going to jump ahead here on my questioning, but you sing in foreign language, French and Spanish and English on this album. Beyond that, though, what's remarkable about your vocals is your distinctive scat style, one of your signature sounds, you say about yourself. And you scat throughout 14, including I Concentrate on You and The Night Has 1,000 Eyes that we just came back in with. Tell me about that. That's such a distinct Carol Welsman style. How did that come about?
Well, it's kind of hard to pinpoint it, but growing up, I was listening to a lot of Tânia Maria, who's a Brazilian pianist and singer. She's not very active anymore, but she was when I was living over in France. And I went to see her in Paris and I heard her scat. And she would be playing the same line on the piano. And so it simultaneously, and I just thought, that sounds so cool. So, and George Benson did this as well. When you hear him on Broadway, for example, on that song, he's, and he's playing the same line. So it's very cool. But it kind of morphed into something else on a gig we were doing in Buffalo. I'll never forget it because I had a really, really great saxophonist, Canadian, Phil Dwyer, who was playing with us. And he, after the set, I said, that's kind of sounded, well, he said to me, what you were doing with the chords, he said, I've never heard anybody do that. And he said, you should really develop that. That's a style that's all your own. Mm-hmm. And I said, well, actually, it's kind of like a copycat of, George Benson, but voicing an actual chord. So what it sounds like is, if anybody likes big band music, once the singer would sing the song, the big band would do what they call a shout chorus, where they're actually just, they're suddenly it's the big band featured and then it goes back to the singer. So that's what I'm doing. I'm doing a little bit of a shout chorus on the piano.
I love it. It's really, really beautiful.
Thank you.
6 of your albums were nominated for Canada's prestigious Juno Awards. You are the granddaughter of Frank Wellsman, the founder and first conductor of the Toronto Symphony Orchestra. Do you ever feel that the stakes are so high each time you release a new body of work? Or do you feel like, given your success, given your family lineage and your history in jazz, your own place in jazz that you've created, are the stakes really high and is there pressure, or do you feel like it's the natural order of things in your life when you create a new body of work?
I think it's more just a natural thing because after doing this 14 times, it's, I don't know, we also hear in the business that, I've spoken to record promoters who say, oh, you really should release an album a year and just keep your audience growing and fresh and everything else. I've never really stuck to that, but it's more the fact that now it's getting even more interesting because now the albums, I think 3 singles were released before the album. So there was already momentum, which is an interesting way of doing it. So I was able to push that up the flagpole, so to speak, and promote on social media and just say, oh, my song's out, and get some traction with that, if you will. I don't know. I think it just feels like I don't always feel this way. This actually may be my last album. I don't know.
What?
I don't know.
No, say it ain't so, Joe.
Well, no, it's not that. I don't know. I feel like I want to do something else in music, like write a musical or write. I think that's a little bit different. I don't know, because the touring is difficult these days. I don't know if you've heard about the lost baggage and lost instruments. Oh my gosh. Anyway.
That's why you just wear one set of clothes throughout the entire tour.
Sure, you just can.
Don't have to worry about it.
Yes. Well, well, that's a bomb drop here. I hope that's not true, but I'm glad you stuck around for that interview with Carol, her last album, 14. Carol, I hope that's not true, and I'm sure you've got a lot more creativity. I have a feeling that someone like you cannot stop creating in whatever way that you take it, in your amazing career. But a musical from you would be really, really great to see. I'd love to see that too. I encourage that one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, so nothing good. You're not paralyzed by your success. You're saying it doesn't creatively, there's not this anxiety like I've got to top my last and my, the last record and the last tour or the last, you don't think about that.
There is a bit of that, though. I have to tell you, I just wanted to mention to you that on the 12th of October, we're leaving for Japan. We have a 10-concert tour through Japan, and it's with a Australian bass player and singer named Nikki Perrott and my drummer, Jimmy Bramley. And we're actually touring an album that only came out in Japan in 2019 and was #1 in sales in Tokyo for like 6 months or something. And it's been postponed 3 times because of the pandemic. So, and here's Nikki in Australia, and we're having to plan the show on Zoom. And so there is that sort of anxiety because I feel like, and I'm also not used to being so idle, like, again, COVID. So suddenly I have this, it seems like it's looming large in my mind as to how to put the show together and everything. So I think from
there are
the
new
standpoint
challenges. Some of these are new challenges to you. There are new challenges with every album, with every tour, right?
Sure. And the nice thing is that I'm a perfectionist and I will not settle for second best. So yeah, it's got to be, we have to do a great tour. It just has to be great.
I love that. Carol, I hope this interview is meeting your standards. And if it's not, we could do another one.
That's right.
This could be our test run. I've been off air for a month, so I'm getting back into it myself here. But I'm so happy that you are my first guest back, Carol Welsman. The new album, 14, it's released on Justin Time Records. It was released on September 9th. Get a copy now. You can get it on Apple Music, Spotify, probably anywhere, Amazon, anywhere you can get an album. You can get the new album 14 by Carol Welsman. Upcoming tour dates here in California, Irvine, California, BISTANGO, the Sunset Jazz, September 13th and November 3rd, 4th, and 5th at Cuesta College Cultural and Performing Arts Center in San Luis Obispo. I'm going to try to catch you up there, Carol. You can there's also great albums by Carol available. Dance With Me, Journey, Carol Welsman. Again, Apple Music, Facebook, Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, and YouTube at Carol Welsman Jazz. We're going to take you to break right now with that song that could be for Pat or could be for her dog. She's not going to tell you. Be My Valentine. Here it is. We'll be right back.
Okay.
Ready? We got our last segment here, Carol. So, and by the way, Jason said 2:15 is fine.
Okay.
So we're good.
All right.
Okay.
Then you can take it to that end. This is our final segment.
Jump in here, Dr. D, if you want to.
I do have, I do actually. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. You're live.
welcome back. We've got the great Carol Welsman, jazz vocalist, pianist. Her new album, 14, is released on Justin Time Records. That's Justin and Time Records. You can get it everywhere you get your albums and get your music. And believe me, this is an album you want to have and you want to put on tonight.
You know, Carol, you mentioned you're going to Japan and you're going to be playing with a gentleman from Australia. So he's going to have a shorter trip than you are, in spite of the fact that he's on the other hemisphere there. I'm curious how you, because see, to me, I wouldn't think that the Japanese would necessarily care much for, I don't know, maybe even hip hop for that matter, let alone jazz or country. I mean, did you know that jazz is popular in Japan?
Oh yeah, well, I met. I first went over in 2004 on a jazz tour, the Fujitsu Concord tour, and it was the most incredible thing. These audiences totally eat jazz up. I mean, they are the most respectful and the most passionate about jazz that I've seen anywhere in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's amazing. True. So we've gone back every 2 years or so since 2004. I've done over 100 concerts in Japan.
Wow.
So yeah.
Are there other countries that you've thought about and you've since, after thinking about them, you've actually performed there because there's been a call for it, if you will, that before you didn't think they would be that interested in jazz? Again, my mind goes to Japan and really? Okay, fantastic. Are there other parts of the world that surprised you?
Well, actually, Italy, funny enough, because I used to live there for a while, the jazz community is very small there. I would say that, Italian, classical is huge in Europe, opera, like Bocelli and people like that. And pop, there's a huge pop scene in Italy. It's very much a closed scene. Everybody's singing only in Italian. I had an opportunity to go to Palermo and perform with the brass group. This was back in, I think, 2004 or 5. And we did 2 concerts in Palermo. And we asked about how many CDs sell at these things. Oh, well, maybe about 20 a night or whatever. So I took 75 CDs with me. Now, mind you, I spoke to the audience in Italian, and it was a Swing Lady Swing show with the orchestra. We sold all 75 CDs in the first intermission.
Oh, wow. So, that's pretty good.
Yeah. And so now, mind you, it was, swing with some sugar on top, because wow, you add beautiful violins and French horns and everything else. It's not like sitting in a jazz club. It was really a spectacular scene with the orchestra. So people really enjoyed it. But I was surprised. I'm thinking Sicily jazz. I'm not sure we even have a jazz festival there. So it was quite surprising to me and very rewarding.
Another follow-up question on that. It seems to me that jazz in particular is not something that performs well in a 60 or 100,000 seat auditorium, that it's more intimate than that.
Yeah, you're right. And so that's why, I don't know what I would do if I ever played somewhere like the Hollywood Bowl. I think I would be scared to death. I haven't played there yet. I mean, the biggest audiences I've ever played for are in Japan, and it would be like a 2,000 seater. And it gets pretty intimate when I sit and just play a song at the piano and sing and command that kind of, I mean, that was quite moving. However, we also had a 17-piece band, like a big band. So for most of the performance, so I never felt but you're right. You're absolutely right. Jazz is blue note. It's an audience of 350 per show or whatever, because it does tend to be quite intimate.
Yeah.
Carol is an artist. 14. We hope this isn't your last album, but let's say it is your last album. As an artist, can you think back with us? Think back to where you started and your progression where you are now, and maybe mention a couple of the milestones, how you felt as an artist, and what were some of the big milestones in your life that shaped and changed and you evolved into the artist that you are today with the new album 14.
Wow, that takes some thinking. There's a lot of highlights. I usually come up with them while driving because I'm not thinking about them, and I think I should write that down. That was actually kind of cool. I would say that there was a list of people that I wanted to meet in the music business. You know, David Foster, Stevie Wonder, Herbie Hancock, George Benson. And I've met them all, and actually George Benson sat in with us in Paris in the jazz club, which I couldn't sleep for a week. That was one of the that was when I thought, okay, I've really done it now. I guess sure. I can't, you know. Actually, his piano player back then, Randy Wellsman, lives like I can see his house from my window here. He lives very close. So and he's George's musical director now. But I would also say it's more the memories rather than milestones. Like, oh well, when I got my 6th Juno nomination, I'm so grateful for the nominations because that's really, you know, people they do kind of, well, they're somewhat judgmental about. It's the first thing people say. Oh, she's got 6 Juno. You know, it's like your stamp of approval. But honestly, the encounters with the musicians. I co-hosted the Billboard Jazz Awards with Herbie Hancock. He and I met at 3 p.m. and we said goodnight to each other at 11 when the show was over, and they messed up the cue cards and everything. We had such a ball, and I opened the show with my jazzed up version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. He went from Herbie Hancock, my colleague, to Herbie Hancock, my best friend, because he came running over and he was like, oh, wow, we harmonized something for Take 6. And I thought, yeah, I know you did, Herbie. You've done a million things that I absolutely love. So I mean, and Thelonious Monk's son, T.S. Monk, came up to me after the show and he said, how long have you known Herbie Hancock? And I looked at my watch, I said, 8 hours.
You were old friends by then.
and he said, oh yeah, we were totally handing it up, you know, locking elbows and reading the cue cards and stuff. But yeah, it was just, that was wonderful because I met a lot of jazz artists who were there, like the top people, you know, Elian Elias and Kurt Elling, and the list goes on and on. So it's more of those things. And then having Stevie Wonder come up at a private party and say, and we were the entertainment, and he whispered in my ear and he said, do you speak all those languages too? And he was in another room. We thought everybody was, you know, entertaining. He was listening.
Wow.
So anyway, he sat down and we sang My Sharia Moore, 4 hands on the piano and singing together.
Oh,
that was
so
it.
You've met all your idols. You've met all your heroes.
Yeah.
Oh, what would you say to younger, just starting out of the business, Carol Wellsman? What would you say to her now? One piece of advice you would give to yourself?
Oh, boy. I don't know. Well, you know, one thing, it's actually Kenny G who said this, and I'm going to repeat it because I'm going to steal it from him because he's absolutely right. You have to remember to enjoy the journey because, you know, as competitive as I am, because I am in music, I mean, I told you I'm somewhat of a perfectionist. I was always seeing, you know, the end result, like what's going to happen if, rather than just going with the flow, which maybe the pandemic
it's hard to do that, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But you know that this album, because I sort of didn't care, you know, before it happened, and I just thought, let's just have fun with this, you know, the record company wants to record me, fine. And funny enough, there's like, I see the numbers of listeners on Spotify and different platforms, and it's gone up exponentially. So it's really touching. Like it's just nice to know that there's so many more venues for people to hear music now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Okay. Last question, then I'll let you go. It's been so good to see you, in case I forget to say that before we say goodbye, but it's been so good to see you again.
You too.
Why you've established and you've mentioned that you are a perfectionist. And if it's not perfect, it's hard for you to be happy with it. As an artist, I am sure that you are probably most critical of yourself than anybody else out there could be. And you get it, you put out some really great music. We benefit from that self-critique and probably being hard on yourself with your music. But why the new album 14? Why do you love the album, Carol? Why do you love it?
Well, I think because it's so intimate, and I have a real of all the musicians I've played with, because I have a great band here in LA, and I have musicians in Toronto and New York and also in Montreal. And there's something about Rémi-Jean and Pierre and I have done more trio concerts with no drums than I have played with any other format in any other city. So, and we've traveled internationally together a lot. They've come to Japan with me the last 3 or 4 times, and we went, Haiti, Dominican Republic, lots of places. And there's a magic that happens between us. We lock in with each other so well with time. We don't need the drums. That's very rare. That's very rare for me, because I don't usually work in that format. So when Jim said to me of Just in Time, said, I think you should do something really intimate like this. It was his idea. And we added drums to a few of the songs. But I think that's what I love the most about it, is it was this, wow, so great to see you guys in the studio vibe, because we hadn't seen each other in years. And so we were so grateful that I think it just brought out something kind of relaxed, fun, and the magic happened. I think.
I was going to say magical. Yeah, it really is. Check it out. Get it. Go now. The interview is over. Now you can take and put your attention. Go now. Go listen. Get 14 by Carol Wellsman. Carol, would you like to thank anybody before we go? We've got to go right now, but I was going to give you the final words here, and if you want to mention the tour in Japan one more time for everyone.
Well, thank you, Jeremiah. It's so great to see you and be on your show again. I love your show. Love. We will be in Japan from October 12th through 24th. The dates are on my website, carolwellsman.com. And there's also a retail link with all the platforms where you can go and either purchase a CD or stream or Google Play, all that stuff, Yeah. So I'd just like to thank you.
Okay. Well, I'll take it. We'll take it, huh, Dr. D?
Absolutely.
All right. I know what I'm going to do right now. We're going to premiere in its entirety right now the with Carol off Carol Wellsman's new album 14, Come Fly With Me. And we will be, God, I wanted you to talk about that song and what you did with it, because you really did some amazing things, but we're gonna have to do that, I guess, on the next turn.
Number four.
That's right. When we were talking about your new musical. All right, Carol, thank you so much. And here you go.
Thank you.
All right, we're clear.
All right. Thank you so much, Carol.
Thank you, Carol.
You're great.
Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll send this to you later.
Great to see you, and I'll we'll see you soon. I hope I'll be following you.
Okay. Bye-bye.